Welcome back to Explain America. This is your host, Kyle Becker. One of those treasonous Democrats who appeared in a controversial video calling on military members to defy unspecified, unlawful orders from the President of the United States, well, he is melting down upon the prospect of being called back into service and dragged in front of a military court. Well, his latest accusations are beyond the pale, but it's to be expected from someone who might be facing serious accusations of violating the military code of justice. But before we get into the story, please like, share, and comment at Explain America. We appreciate your support for common sense journalism. While Arizona Senator Mark Kelly is doubling down on his calls for active duty troops to disobey orders he deems as illegal, and this time he told Meet the Press host Kristen Welker that War Secretary Pete Hegseth is guilty of war crimes.
Based on what CNN is reporting, what the Washington Post is reporting, do you believe if there was a second strike to eliminate any survivors, that constitutes a war crime?
It seems to. If that is true, if what has been reported is accurate, I've got serious concerns about anybody in that chain of command stepping over a line that they should never step over. We are not Russia. We're not Iraq. We hold ourselves to a very high standard of professionalism. And this is where I'm really troubled about this, is because I have so much respect for people in the United States Navy. I served in the Navy for 25 years, and there is no organization more professional than Navy SEALs. And they should be revered. And that's why I say I hope what I've heard about this strike is not accurate.
Well, that's rich coming from Mark Kelly, because he has just been caught red-handed on video telling troops to disobey unspecified, unlawful orders for the commander-in-chief. Now, contrary to what you might see in the fake news media, it is against the Uniform Code of Military Justice to suggest that troops disobey unlawful orders because, well, they are assumed to be lawful unless proven otherwise in a court of law. So before we get into that, he should really watch himself. The judge, in the case that he will possibly be appearing before, might not take it kindly that he is lashing out against the Trump administration and accusing them of war crimes without any evidence. And this all comes in the aftermath of a report that Hegseth ordered a follow-up strike on a Caribbean naval vessel that was identified as smuggling narcotics into the country. Now, this is part of an asymmetric warfare that Venezuela has been carrying out against the United States, killing tens of thousands of Americans through such drugs as fentanyl. And so this has been a low-intensity conflict that has been going on for a long time, and it has led to thousands of Americans' deaths, far more than has even occurred in actual wars for decades and decades. So, Mark Kelly, hopefully you face justice for your undermining of the President of the United States, for sabotaging his policy and undermining morale. And, we all hope that you bring forward a strong defense, because to a lot of Americans, it looks like you're guilty of what Donald Trump calls treasonous behavior or sedition at the highest level. But weigh in with your thoughts. We always appreciate hearing from you at Explain America.